Hi, it's Scott Allen with my thoughts on this week's rugby. Recently the Wallabies have been deliberately slowing down some of their ruck ball. Let's have a look at their game against the All Blacks to see why and whether it's a good tactic. There were 8 occasions where the Wallabies deliberately slowed their ruck down. 7 of those were called by Barnes and Beale, the playmakers. The first one here after 4 minutes comes from a line-out, when the backline should have been set ready to go. Genny has now moved to the line-out and is ready to pass, but you can see that Barnes is still directing traffic. He doesn't want the ball at this stage. Look at the All Blacks' defence. You'll see they're a bit narrow at this stage and they're not up to the line. That would have been the time to play the ball early. But Barnes is organising forwards. He wants Sharp and Pelota now to come forward and set up a screen. He wants Kepu to come out in the back line to run support. Taking all that time to get ready, this is all the Wallabies could come up with. Straight hands across field, easy meat for the All Blacks' defence, into touch. What a wasted opportunity. The next time they slow the ruck down, it looks like Barnes is just taking his time to get set up for a clearing kick. Genny is ready to go now, but you can see Barnes is directing the forwards to set up a screen in front of him. As the clip rolls on, you'll see that Barnes is facing Kurtley Beale. He was communicating something. Either he wanted Beale to make a wide clearing kick, or they were going to run an audacious wide play and try and go around the All Blacks. Whatever it was, it fell apart with that pass from Barnes, and they were lucky to get away with this at the end of the day when the All Blacks were penalised. In this next instance, Genny was still getting up off the ground from the previous ruck where he'd run the ball. You can see here that Pocock's recognised that they're not ready to go, so he's got his hand up holding play up, and Barnes is organising people where he wants them to go. What they're looking to do is to set up a forward pod of 3. Dennis, Pocock, and you'll see Sharp comes into the picture as well. This is a recurring theme for all of the Wallaby slow ball patterns they're using at the moment. A pod of 3 forwards, either to run the ball or set up as a screen and the ball will be passed out behind them. Now, if you're going to use a slow ball option, the aim has to be that the next phase produces quick ball, which it does here if Tamani takes the ball forward. However, there are no other attacking options, and Barnes recognises this. You can see him pointing to his forwards to set up that familiar pod of 3 or 4, either as a ball-running pod or a screen. Barnes doesn't want the ball at this stage, so Genny has to wait for the forwards to get set. The aim would have been to create quick ball that Barnes could use. Unfortunately, the ball's turned over, which wasn't helped by Nono lying on the Wallaby side. Here's another example, after a driving maul from a line-out. Genny is waiting for Barnes to call the ball, but as you can see here, Barnes is more interested in organising his forward screen. He's directing traffic. He doesn't want the ball at this stage. Once again, Genny is having to wait far too long for the forwards to realign. When they are ready, his only options are one-out runners from a standing start, but at least they're able to generate some quick ball to play with on the next phase. In this next instance, both Barnes and Pocock slow things down. There's no obvious attacking opportunity, so Genny is ordered to just wait while we reorganise people. You can see both Barnes and Pocock here pointing to players, moving them around. Fainga's going to move wide, Kepu's going to come out of the ruck, Dennis is going to come in. They're going to form up that 3 or 4 man forward pod or screen, and with David Pocock taking the ball forward, they do generate some quick ball, and this time Barnes does want it, so he can try a wide play with Ioane. This next one is one where Genny actually slows the ball down, and it's the only one he did in the whole game. You've got Barnes, Beale and Pocock all in that ruck, so Genny takes the decision that he'll slow things down, get a forward pod set up. I actually think this is an occasion where they should have let the ball go and not slowed it down. As you can see, the Wallabies have got 4 players on the left side of the field. The extra time they took just gave the All Blacks long enough to get their defence reorganised, but at least they generate quick ball to play on the next phase, which goes out to Beale. Unfortunately, again, another wasted attacking opportunity with Beale just bundled over the sideline. And on this final occasion where the Wallabies slowed their ruck ball down in the match, it's Kurtley Beale who stepped into the playmaker role. You can see here Genny is ready to go, but he's been told by Beale he doesn't want the ball yet, and as we go to a wider shot, you can see that Beale is the one directing traffic again, asking the forwards to set up that pod or screen. Now, when Genny is being told by his playmakers and the captain to slow play down, he's not going to override them. But I don't think this is something that the playmakers are coming up with on the field. This looks to me like something that's been practiced at training, particularly given that they always set up with the 3 or 4 forwards in a pod or a screen. There's probably a call. Everybody knows it's a slow ball. This is what the forwards need to do. It can be useful at times when things go wrong in the field, but what I'd like to see is the forwards get into position a little faster than they are. It's taking far too long for this slow ball option to be set up.